yeah, I swear, Rebecca said, grinning deviously. No, I'm not lying. She was wrapped around him like ivy.
You do that so well, Ashley.
Welcome back, witches, to the Tired Witches podcast. We are here for our part 3, highly anticipated, long awaited, long overdue, year 4 and 5 of our Saving 6 deep dive. As always, it is your head witch number 2, I guess, in this crazy coven thingy here, Ashley, with my witch bitch over here, Olivia, and then we have our resident witch who is going to join us on the rest of these Boys of Tommen deep dives because she just knows a lot of timeline stuff, and we just thought it might be good to get kind of a third head in here with some opinions and stuff.
Just the stuff that Grace is able to pull out. She's very meticulous with details, even more so than Ashley and I, and we just thought having that fresh perspective would be something that you all would enjoy, and you all love Grace here on the channel, so she's on most of our Boys of Tommen videos, so we thought, hell, why the hell not? Just put her on here, you know? How are you feeling, Grace? You excited to join the deep dives?
Yeah, I'm excited. It's like these thoughts and observations have been just like, I mean, granted, I've been like talking about it with friends over the last year, but it's just really exciting to like get it out on a platform and discuss it with you guys and share more of it with the world rather than just the group chats. And you guys know Joey and Aoife are my people, so you probably saw my Instagram stories while I was reading. I was like crying just thinking about them the other day. So
if there's one person who's not going to procrastinate with reading Joey's books, it's going to be great.
Yeah, Aoife Molloy is literally my favorite book character of all time. And Joey's.
Wow.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Joey's very shortly behind her, but Aoife, like, just especially has a special place in my heart, so.
Okay.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I think that's how I feel about Lizzie Young, so.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Aoife's my
Okay,
Lizzie.
so we'll just go ahead. If you aren't following us over on our Instagram, Tired Witches Podcast over on our Instagram, Girl and Her Cat on TikTok, Chronic Chapters and Chronic Chillness over here for Grace, and then Archives of Ashley over there. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button, thumbs up the video, and we will jump right into this. We're starting with year 4. The Boys of Tommen series deals with some deeply heavy, emotional, and triggering themes. Since we're breaking the books down in detail, those topics will naturally come up in our discussions. Take care of yourself, pause if you need to, and only listen in a way that feels comfortable for you. Now, although I will say that I feel like these two portions aren't so heavy on that, thank goodness. We've reached more of a lighter stage in young Joey's life here, but there are little pop-up moments of things that might trigger you, so if that is something you will need to be cautious about, just heads up there. It does appear randomly. It is not a heavy theme as like some of the other chapters are, but yeah, it is present here. So, okay, Ashley, go for it. Wing it, girl.
All right, so for this combined 4th and 5th year deep dive, our very small portion of 4th year is going to cover Joey's high anxiety as Shannon finally starts BCS and all of the drama and terrifying things that go along with it. 5th year is finally going to be what we've all been waiting for forever and ever and ever. Aoife's going to axe Paul. We're all going to be really happy about it. And yeah. Although I will say, you guys, little teaser for what's ahead, what happens when they get together is, I think, some of the pettiest fucking thing that happens in this entire series.
Yeah.
So let's just get into it.
Let's dive into it. We start off with September 2nd, 2002, titled I'll Be With You, and this is Joey's POV. And Chloe Walsh does what Chloe Walsh does. She brilliantly mirrors the beginning of this book here with Shannon and Joey. It is a parallel mirror of Darren and Joey from the very beginning of this book. And we have Joey dropping Shannon off for her first day at BCS. And we have a flashback even here of the Darren and Joey moment.
I highlighted, Shannon and Joey chatting with each other, and it made me think about how this same day across town, we have Claire and Lizzie entering their first day at Tommen and asking each other, like, do you think Shannon's going to be okay? And they're like, I hope so. And Joey's here concerned as well. So I thought that was really interesting to think about as well.
Well, you have that concern, and then you have in Joey's mind as well, like, I'm never gonna leave you. In his mind, he's telling, like, he's comparing what happened his first day at BCS and having those flashbacks of Darren that same day leaving him, and he's like, I will never do that to you. It's a heartbreaking parallel, but also shows how Joey was able to step up in a way that Darren was not, you know? So, just a little... That's a very short POV from Joey there. You get his anxiety there, just that conversation with Shannon. And
but he's really, I think it's important that he's really trying to play it off as it's going to be fine to her, even though he knows, no, this is not going to be okay at all.
I think he's trying to be the parent, right? Trying to reassure her everything's going to be, because it's just what Joey does. He steps into that caregiver role, that protector role of trying... if I speak it, maybe it will manifest itself, right? And that's kind of what he's trying to do with Shannon here, is if she's not feeling insecure and scared, maybe everything truly will be okay, you know? And unfortunately, we know that does not go the way he or Shannon wanted.
No.
And BCS is not a walk in the park for either one of them. So then we jump into September 21st, 2002. This is Aoife's point of view. And this is titled... Meet the Gobshites, which is just such an interesting... Every time I hear that, I now think of Hughie, because that's what Teddy called Hughie. But this is Aoife having dinner with Paul's family, and she's right off the bat very uncomfortable. She does not want to be there. It's always so interesting because how old are they here, Grace?
They're the equivalent of sophomores.
Yeah, so they would be...
She just turned 16.
16, yeah.
So, like, a 16-year-old girl meeting her boyfriend's parents for the first time, but she doesn't even really truly give a crap about Paul. So, of course, she's not really caring how she's coming across at this dinner. Any situation where you're normal and not you're normal, but where you care about your significant other, you're, like, trying to impress the family. Aoife does not care about that here at all. She's not putting on an act. She's not putting on a show to impress them. And that infuriates Paul right off the bat, you know? And Paul is not only immature, but he's actively controlling and emotionally degrading Aoife in this entire chapter.
He's malicious. He tells her that it's the only way she's getting a nice meal is by having it with his family.
And we learned that Aoife's kind of avoided Joey at this point for months, right? She's really trying to force herself to move on emotionally with Paul. But despite that, she feels empty. And her thoughts constantly drift back to Joey, right? And Joey's emotional absence here with Aoife already tells you how deep involved Aoife is with Joey emotionally. Oh my gosh, yeah.
But no, this just shows that Paul is a product of his upbringing. Because I'm sorry, could you imagine being judged for your teenage job by your significant other's parents? Because he really judges her for what she chose her after-school job to be.
The fact that he sits there and weaponizes their class difference and the parents don't say a word, not even the mother, to like, hey, maybe don't talk to your girlfriend that way, is
right.
So disgusting.
Well, like, she's a boy mom.
Well, she's a boy mom, and she agrees with him. She's like, yeah, my family is above yours. Know your place. Like, you are embarrassing my son. My son deserves better. You should be grateful that my son chose you, type of bullcrap, you know? It is such a different level of emotional manipulation, because it's not just Paul. You have the entire family in on it here, which is really gross.
I think it's crazy how much Paul is like, I mean, obviously we know throughout the entire book how superficial he is about Aoife, like she's a trophy girlfriend to him, but even right in front of his dad, he's like, would you look at her dad? She's an asset to the place. No one would look at her with that little white shirt and short black shirt, and the owners are guaranteed to fill the bar. Of course they're going to pay well to keep her. It's like, you're saying that to your dad and like flexing to him about your girlfriend, and like nobody blinks an eye. Like, it's pretty gross.
Nobody bats an eye, and what they have just reduced her to, when she is working independently, earning her own money, no one is like, good for you.
Yeah,
We see at a teenager, you're busting your butt
I'm
here.
sorry, but because I am a parent, and I am a parent of a 16-year-old specifically, I hate this way of thinking where, I mean, I will give it to Paul's mom where she says, I always thought he could get a Saturday job, do something. And then right away, the dad is like, no, he just needs to concentrate on his studies. We give him all the money we need. That's how you raise a posh prick that thinks he is God's greatest gift to humanity.
Yeah. Yeah. Truly. And then you see another massive difference here between the way Joey treats Aoife and the way Paul treats Aoife. Like, Joey may be emotionally unstable and self-destructive, but he never made Aoife feel beneath him or small the way that Paul and his entire family does in this moment.
But he really pressures her. He's like, why don't you try to find a different job, something more appropriate for young ladies?
And saying, get a babysitting job.
Yeah.
Yes.
Foreshadowing.
And then we do learn that Paul has a brother, and his brother is, what would you say, a serial dater? Is basically what Aoife implies. He's got a girl there with him as well, and Aoife kind of makes a mental note that this is a girlfriend that is not going to stick around for long.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just the whole family is problematic. And Aoife is begging to leave. And finally, she just kind of takes it upon herself, because that is Aoife fashion, I'm going to do it myself.
Well, she has to. Like, if they were literally sitting there belittling her, and their lines of "no offense," wink, wink. The second that you say "no offense," we all know you meant.
And then for Paul to say she was rude when she finally does,
I know,
leave the situation. It's just, we have a very short window of fourth year, but I mean, you can just see they're on their way out the door. She's over it.
And she's even pressured to go to this stupid house party that she does not want to go to. Like, he's like, I already told her we're going to go. And she's like, why would you speak for me like that? He's like, come on, it's just a party. She did not want to go. And yet, because Paul is literally making her decisions and bulldozing her life, he made the decision that she is going to go with him. And so she does. Yeah. And so then we jump into
April 11th. All the way to...
Yeah.
April 11th, 2003, The Demons in Your Head.
This is Joey's POV. And I really love, in these two portions, fourth and fifth year, the interactions we get of Tony and Joey here. I really love seeing that dynamic and that relationship behind the scenes, behind Aoife, grow. Because I do think there's more to it than just him being Aoife's dad. I think he was a supportive figure in Joey's life when Joey had nobody there. So when you get these little moments with them.
Well, I think it's important that Chloe wrote this scene with Joey getting the news with both Tony there and Teddy there.
And Teddy there. I think that's what she does so brilliantly, is that parallel of the response between the two, right? Because so what happens here is we find out that this is, in my opinion, one of the most important Joey Lynch chapters, because she finally gives us who Joey is underneath that addiction. And you get that with his relationship with his granddad, right? Joey arrives to work, he's late, and he sees Tony and Teddy there together, and he immediately is like, what
is my dad doing here at work?
Yeah.
And immediately assumes it's about Marie.
Yes! Something horrible's happened. Which...
He's on edge about it the entire time. Like, yeah.
Well, he goes, is she dead?
Immediately. Doesn't even say her name. Immediately, like, that's where his mind goes. Which I thought was really interesting, because it really just shows how much weight that Joey is carrying on his shoulders.
And Teddy immediately says, it's your mother's grandfather. He's on the way out. And he goes, Granddad Murphy. And Teddy's response here, how many great-grandfathers do you have, boy? Jesus Christ on a cracker. Like, the response to telling your child that his grandfather is on his way out.
Oh, and then if you want to see him, you want to go now before he kicks the bucket.
Yep.
That's just what everybody wants to hear. I don't care how old you are. Like, that is not the way to do it.
And we find out here that Like, he says, Granddad was the first man who took on the role of raising my mother and aunt when his own daughter died, only to then have to take on the role of sheltering my mother's children for the raging storm that was our father. He was the first man whose touch I didn't fear. He was the man who taught me how to ride a bike. He was the man who took me to the cinema for the first time. And he was the man who was never supposed to go anywhere because we needed him to stay right here and not effing leave. And that's when Teddy tells him that he's at the hospital and then says, oh my God.
I'll give you a ride if you give me money.
I do want to say I highlighted that line where he says he was not supposed to go anywhere because we needed him to stay here, right here, and not leave. Kind of reminded me of Joey's like abandonment issues with Darren, you know?
Sure.
Yeah.
Joey has severe abandonment issues. Yeah, and you saw that in the chapter where he's dropping Shannon off. You see that fear of really his abandonment issues coming through and trying to reassure Shannon he's not going to abandon her. I mean, because he's been abandoned by his father, his mother, and Darren, you know, and now he has that sense of my grandfather is
well,
leaving.
it's such a normal response anyway. When someone like that dies, you're like, don't leave me. I know that's how I felt with my grandparents, but when you already have that trauma deep within, it just really adds to it.
Well, Joey's entire understanding of masculinity from Teddy has been abuse, intimidation, fear, but his grandfather was the exception to that, right? And now he's being told in one of the most unabashedly horrific ways that he's going to lose that. And hey, if you want to go see him before he kicks the bucket, you need to give me money.
Sounds like Teddy's really.
And this is all happening in front of Tony. Tony is right there watching this go down. Like, Teddy has no shame. He does not even try to put up an act.
Well, and then he really rubs salt in the wound by basically saying the apple doesn't fall far from the tree. Because Joey is like, you want me to give you money to take you to see him, I'm not going to feed your drinking habit. And then Teddy throws it right back at him.
Well, he throws Joey's greatest fear right in his face, which is ending up like Teddy with the line, the apple doesn't fall far from the tree. And that is the core terror underneath Joey's entire character, right? And he just attacked it. And then we see, because Teddy is such an epic failure of a human being and a father, Tony then has to step up into that role here in this moment so that Joey can go see his grandfather before his grandfather passes. Boy.
Joey.
And then Joey does get to the hospital, and this just, oh God, this was trauma central for me. Just really took me back to a lot of things. But yeah, you really just see, like what Olivia was saying at the beginning of this chapter, just really who Joey is beyond his addiction. His grandfather, obviously, because he is about to pass, he's in that very kind of delirious stage, and he's just talking about Joey, just who he is, and your birthday is on Christmas Day, a holy day, and basically all this symbolism that comes with Joey being who he is.
Well, we find out that he's been asking for his little Joe. He's been asking for his little Joe. That's how much Joey meant to his grandfather. And who is not at that hospital? Murray.
Yeah.
Murray is not there.
Shannon's there.
Yes.
But this was one of the things that his grandfather was kind of just rambling on, and I had highlighted this from a previous reread. Loyal, kind, forgiving, fearless, nurturer, protector. Joseph acted. He took on a role. He was the father of the lost.
I also find it so interesting here. We see, and it's a fascinating parallel, because we got Joey going into the hospital with Marie when she was giving birth to Sean, right? And he really did step into that role. But here, going into the hospital to say goodbye to his grandfather, he really struggled to. He was like, I don't know if I can. I don't know if I can go see him like this. And it's heartbreaking because it's more of Joey's terrified of that emotional vulnerability. Like, he can survive the beatings, the drugs, the violence, the chaos that Marie and Teddy give him. But any emotional intimacy, vulnerability, he really struggles with. And that's why I felt like he really did not want to go into that hospital room here to say goodbye to his grandfather, you know?
I wonder if, because clearly This chapter ends with one of the last things he says to him is, don't give in to them. Promise me that you'll never give in to them. The demons your father put in your head. And we know from the beginning of this chapter and from the 13 duet that Nanny Murphy, like, she really took on a role after Darren left. Took the boys where they needed to go, kept them overnight. Do you guys think that they specifically had conversations over the years of trying to take those kids, but they couldn't because of age, or I don't know. I don't really know Ireland custody laws.
I feel like it was mentioned at some point. I can't remember what the context was around that, but I think it was like age and potentially money as well. So
yeah,
something along those lines. I feel like it was mentioned maybe in the 13s.
Well, Teddy and Marie sure didn't have money to fight that, so...
Well, I think it was more of look at the system in general. Even here in America, they tend to still favor parents. And if a parent goes in front of a judge and lies and says, I'm trying to get my act together, they still try to keep that family together, even though...
Well, that's true. I mean, I guess we do have to remember that Marie was able to drop her children off in foster care and then come and get them when she wanted them back.
Exactly. And I think his grandfather's mentioning that, he chose Joey's name, he chose Joseph. And then you see the biblical pairings here with that. It's because his grandfather literally describes Joey as everything we know Joey to later become to be, the protector, the nurturer, the father of the lost children, right? Which is who Joseph was in the Bible. And that is who Joey is in the books. And he's trying desperately to, I'm no longer going to be here to show you that path, but I really don't want you to lose yourself on that path. It's heartbreaking. It's really heartbreaking. And he tries really hard to do what Marie and Teddy have tried to stamp into his head, like the apple doesn't fall far. We get that line from Teddy, the apple doesn't fall far from the tree, and then in the very next chapter, we get his grandfather telling him, you are not Teddy.
Yeah. Well, because he
so
tells him that Teddy wanted Joey named after him.
Yeah.
Yep. And he stopped that.
Thank God. I know. I do
You were no Teddy, you were Joseph. So I bribed him with a tenner for the pub and called you what I wanted you to be called.
Which is funny because Teddy was just asking Joey for the same thing.
I know.
The previous page. Yeah, shows what Teddy's really after. Yeah. I really just love the way this chapter ends, though. Don't give in to them. Promise me you'll never give in to them. The demons your father put in your head. Which is funny because, in a way, I think that Joey really didn't, but he could never get over the demons that Marie put in his head.
No.
We've talked a lot about how Marie was the ultimate demon because she came in a form of, it was different. She disguised herself as love. Teddy never claimed to love his children, or what he was doing was out of love. Marie did manipulate them that way, especially Joey. And she dangled that in front of him, the potential of it gaining her love, which she so desperately wanted. So.
Well, she wasn't getting she wasn't getting love from Teddy, so in a way she was what's that word that some parents will do to their children? Like put them in that role, that inappropriate role they shouldn't be in. Not parentification. It's not parentification.
It's enmeshing. It's an enmeshed relationship where they then put the child into that emotional stability role of being responsible for their emotions, their feelings.
You see it a lot with, I'm sorry to anybody I offend, but I'm just using this from personal experiences. A lot of times single mothers will really do this with their children, use their children as, well, I don't have a partner to emotionally support me, so whenever I am down and depressed, my child needs to be that person to make me feel better.
I see what you're saying.
I've seen it. Right in front of me, I've seen it. I've had to take full custody of a child because of it, so.
Yeah. I think I think it just comes to that whole thing of...
Is it emotional incest? Is that what I'm looking for?
That is also a term.
It's that was the word I was looking for.
It's a form of enmeshment, but it's more of, you look at how that generational trauma ticks down the line, right?
Yeah.
And Marie put
well,
that
and you
generational
also
trauma
have
on
to
her.
wonder too, is clearly Marie's parents weren't very loving and nurturing if they were able to just give up on their teenage daughter so quickly, and that her grandparents kind of swooped in to take over that role and then didn't talk to her.
I don't even, as someone who, I don't like to judge characters we don't have their POVs from, and it's easy to say, but we really don't know what was going on behind the scenes there. We don't know until we get Marie's story, which I don't think we ever will, and to be quite honest, I don't want it.
I don't want it.
No.
Yeah,
I
don't want
in Reddit that are begging for it, please stop.
Yeah, I don't need a redemption story of why Marie turned out the way she did. It doesn't change that she turned out the way she did and she treated her children the way she did. Nothing is ever going to excuse that behavior for me. And I feel like she's the one ultimately who chose to continue the generational trauma and to have a form of emotional incest with her own children, like she did with Darren, you know? So it's a real shame how it all ended up and affected Joey, because it's like, if at any point in time she had just put a stop to it, Joey never would have fallen as far as he does, you know?
Yeah.
So.
All right, then we jump a few days later, April 14th, 2003. I'll be seeing you, Molloy. Aoife's POV, and we have the funeral. And right off the bat, just Marie is not there.
No, and you have the confirmation of everything that his grandfather said to him beforehand, of comparing him to Joseph from the Bible. You see him fathering all of the children there. He's the one keeping them in line at a funeral. He's the one, fixing their ties. He's the one who's like, you guys get it together, corralling them all.
Aoife even says, I watched as he parented his 4 younger siblings with a proficiency that a grown man would struggle to master.
Yeah. Yep. It's interesting to see this from Aoife's point of view, because she's at a certain point, it's also fascinating because we know what happens. Aoife becomes pregnant and ends up, and she's like, it's so hot seeing him step into that father role, and it's like, we can dissect it from this lens of, this is a child who's been put in this role. Aoife is like, damn, that's my man. Like, yes, like, it's just so fascinating to see it from her point of view, because she can see, number one, that, it's sad, but also, like, this is going to be a good daddy. Once again, it's literally
It's painted right there for you.
It's right there in the book.
Spelled out in a big scarlet letter. But you have Aoife just having another little interaction with the boys who do remember her. They're excited to see her. And then Shannon... I know. Well, they never bring friends over.
Yeah.
So all those people are going to obviously have a lasting impression on him. Yeah, and then just Joey, he's surprised to see her. He's like, you came. And just a little...
She hugs him.
She's like, just a little moment between the two of them, and she kind of does make a note. She looks over to make sure her dad isn't watching. And then we flash forward a little bit to later that day or that evening, and I had actually talked about this in the 13 duet deep dives, but this is where you learn just how old Marie was. With Teddy, you learn that Aoife's parents were both in Teddy's year at school, and this is kind of where she's getting a little bit more of a backstory on Joey's life and just how absolutely screwed up it is.
Well, Tony describes Teddy as heartless, cruel, a drunk, incapable of being a proper father, and that's just from him witnessing what he does to Joey, how he behaves with Joey, and what he knew from going to school with them, which is...
But they're really talking about the past, and they said Teddy was too old to be looking at a 14-year-old girl. Like, they all saw it as problematic even when they were in school. Yeah. Could you guys imagine? I'm telling you, when I was in high school, the upperclassmen that were going for 14-year-olds, that they were gross. Like, they were not considered popular people. Like, it was, ew, what are you doing?
That's a senior going for an 8th grader.
Yeah, that's exactly what that is.
It's so gross.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's insane. And I even wrote that down. I'm like, oh my gosh. It's like, it just will never be lost on me how astounding that is.
Well, Trish, her mother says another foreshadowing line. She was only a couple of years younger than you when she had a baby on her hip, Aoife.
Mhm.
God, so many signs. So
And then they
Comparing
talk about
teenage pregnant Marie to present day Aoife.
But
It's
this
like,
also just shows how small the town is, because even Tony goes, Darren left for the UK, took off the minute he became of age.
yeah. You want to know something fascinating? Because we've interviewed Greg. He did not pick up that Aoife was pregnant in the 13s. My friends are reading Binding, and they're females. I'm like, maybe it's just like a female thing.
Did
And
they pick up on it?
she picked it up immediately. Alex was like, is Aoife pregnant? I just have a feeling she's pregnant. And I was like,
I didn't pick up on it.
that's crazy. That's crazy.
I didn't catch it. Yeah.
Interesting.
I mean, like, I had a feeling, but like, it was like, I don't know. I think I didn't want it to happen also. So I was maybe in like denial a bit. But
You're like, no, please, no.
But I only picked up on it once the fight happened. But even then I was like, no, it can't be. It has to be something else. I thought it had something to do with his addiction. So
okay, that makes sense.
Yeah. Also, that line about Darren, I'm like, when's Darren's birthday? That really had me questioning things. Yeah.
But yeah, then they just talk a little bit more, and Trish says that Teddy was a really gifted hurler, and Tony goes, not as good as that fella is his. And then Trish goes, well, you never talk about Kevin the way that you talk about Joey, and this is where you can see this is a problem.
Yeah.
Because, you know, Kevin is not perfect, okay? He has said some very malicious things to Aoife. However, if I was in my household and one of my parents was giving my sister's boyfriend or whatever more attention than me, I would have a problem and act out.
Agreed.
And
100%.
the fact that Trish does call that out.
Yeah.
Yeah. Very interesting.
I agree.
All right, and then we jump to 5th year, and 5th year is a lot of events, so
5th year's a thick boy.
Yeah, we won't. Like the 13 duet, we don't really deep dive all the lovey-dovey, kissy stuff. We turn the pages right through that.
There's a lot of it here, especially towards the latter half of this 5th year.
Yes, but August 16th, 2003, we don't hit girls. This is a very interesting chapter, just starting off 5th year right off the bat. So this is a wash, rinse, repeat of Tony and Trish's marriage. Once again, Aoife is starting off the beginning of the school year with getting some new cosmetics done to the house. Last time it was a bathroom, and now they're getting all new wardrobes.
Yeah.
God, I could not imagine growing up.
And we see here the pattern, the cycle continuing. You have that pattern with Marie and Teddy, obviously, very blatant pattern of the abuse, but you then have another different type of pattern that you can point out in Aoife's family, right? With this Tony cheats, guilt purchase, and then there's the temporary domestic bliss that happens from that. The fake band-aid over the incidents that he continues to have, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it's an emotional strain on the household where they all know why they're getting this new thing.
Well, the fact that Aoife refers to it as the latest hiccup.
Yeah.
Your dad cheating on your mom is just a little hiccup.
So normalized.
Yeah.
It's it's a normalized betrayal in her eyes. And that's like, but once again, we get this thing of Tony using compensation and gifts and materialistic items as a form of love, which Paul did as well.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
You also wonder, too, would Trish have a very different outlook on life if she had a job?
Maybe.
Like, do you think she allows this and okays this because it just means at the end of the
day...
day...
Look at Marie.
Yeah. Marie works, though.
That's what I'm saying. Look at Marie. Marie works. And she still allows Teddy to cheat. Because Teddy cheats on her.
Well, yeah, but Marie is also, stunted emotionally. Trish seems to have it somewhat together.
Seems, right? We don't really know. So...
I don't know. At the end of the day, she sticks around. So
she sticks around and she allows her children. Not only does she stick around, but it's so evident that her children know exactly what's going on. I'm like, if if I'm going to be a parent and I'm willingly choosing to stay in this environment, I'm going to do my damnedest to make sure my kids don't pick up on this shit.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and we got into the last deep dive. Aoife told her mom, I don't want to fall in love with anybody. I'm glad that I don't love Paul because look at your relationship, Mom.
Yeah.
You're married, you have 2 children, and look what's going on.
Yeah.
Aoife protecting herself and being with Paul is a big, like, it's her parents. It's an extension of her parents being the way that they are. She's protecting herself.
And look at this. Joey's here both times that we have the mention of Tony cheating and the gifts as compensation. Because wasn't he there when
because he was helping put the bathroom together.
And now he's helping with the wardrobes.
Mm-hmm.
So Joey is there both instances.
Has me wondering what he thinks of it all.
So this is where it gets interesting because Joey is putting together a new wardrobe for Aoife, and Kevin comes in and he's teasing Aoife over an old pair of shorts she has that are, I guess, very itty bitty. And they're having what is a normal sibling fight. This is not malicious. This is just siblings being siblings. And
it is typical teasing, wrestling, insults, harmless physical roughhousing. Like that is, if you have a sibling, you've
done this. You've had moments like this. Yes. So he takes her shorts, tosses them out the window, and Aoife describes it as landing directly into the dog's poo. And so she tackles him, and they both are just kind of on the floor, and then Kevin ends up on top of her and does like that hand slap thing.
Yeah.
And Aoife describes it as he's there 1 minute, and the next, Joey had him up against the wall with his hand around his neck. And Aoife describes Joey as basically like being in this trance, like, and we know why.
He's hurt you. Mm-hmm. He's put his hands on you. Mm-hmm. He's hurt you. He immediately goes into a defensive, aggressive position, right? Because he does not, heartbreaking. He doesn't know what a normal sibling interaction is like because he didn't grow up in a normal household. Because this scares her because he's like, he put his hands on you. He put his hands on you. And then she's like, that's
Joey,
my brother.
We're just playing. Just look at me. And then you have Kevin, I'm going to tell. And Aoife's like, shut up. And she's really trying to just get Joey to look at her and focus on her.
But I don't even blame Kevin in this instance.
No, I don't either, because I'd be scared. Oh my God. I'm roughhousing with my sister, and then all of a sudden, like, yeah.
Yeah, but Joey just cannot process this thought that they were just playing around. In his mind, that is so inconceivable to him, and so that's why he's in this trance, and she's trying desperately to pull him out of it. And you have such a blatant contrast between the two families and the households here of what is normal in the Molloy household, the teasing, the playful bickering, but the sibling rivalry that's fun and whatnot. Joey cannot process because he's never had that.
Mm-hmm.
And that's heartbreaking.
Yeah, and I mean, even Aoife is like, why'd you do that? Like, she's confused. She's like, why did you? And Joey's just like, he hurt you. And he is just so focused on that, and he knows he's screwed up, and you can see he can't get his words right. I thought he was, I just saw you on the floor, and he was, and he's lost right now because he's seeing his mom and he's seeing his dad, and he hurt you. You don't hit girl.
Yep. Absolutely.
What did you want to focus on, Grace?
I thought it was interesting, and Ashley pointed it out, is that, like, Aoife really focused on getting Joey just, like, look at her. And I feel like this is something we see come up time and time again. And something I also repeat is, like, she wanted to, like, keep him in here with me. So, like, keeping Joey close and keeping Joey's focus on her is, like, something that we see her, like, resorting to time and time again. Because, like, when Joey's in a haze, like, and he's, like, in the clouds, like, sometimes that is all that he can focus on is Aoife, and, like, that is, like, a grounding presence for him. So it's really just interesting to see that happen over.
And then, so we get her, he just doesn't understand. The line, he hurt you, you don't hit girls, is literally the last line here before we jump into September 1st, 2003. And in the very next instance, we see Joey's POV. You have Sean saying, dada, ow, ow, dada.
I did highlight the first paragraph here. I remained completely rigid as awareness claimed me from the sweet escape sleep with my brain foggy and uncooperative. I forced myself to retrace last night's events, trying to link my current surroundings with reality, but came up empty. And this is going to be another, like, kind of R10 parallel, is that this is the first day of school again. I don't know. We see similar wording from what happens to Lizzie on the same day of this, because
clock that, Grace.
Yeah, and it's very, very similar, like her body being rigid and like not knowing what's reality and what's not, you know. So that's just something I thought was interesting. Another Joey and Lizzie parallel, because this is the day that Lizzie gets attacked by Mark. So
yeah. And Sean's calling Joey Dada here, right? And Joey just goes with it. Like, he just...
So right away they get into the night before was another night at the Lynch house, and Tig is like, that's not your dada, your real dada beat the crap out of your fake dada last night.
Yeah.
And Joey's talking about how this is the first day of school, and no matter how bad any of us felt, staying in this house instead of going to school was not an option. Like, they all needed to get out of there.
Yeah. And Joey jumps right into parent mode. Okay, guys, go get dressed, go brush your teeth. Like, we've got to get you to school. Even though he is physically broken here, he jumps right into that role without hesitation.
Mm-hmm. And then he's just so, he takes a line before getting ready for school.
Yeah. And then this is Shannon's second year, the start of her second year at BCS. Yep. And it's another parallel to the first year where she's like, I don't want to go, it's going to be bad. And we've talked about this a lot in the binding and keeping duet, the promises that's so big to Shannon. And Joey notes it again here. He says, yeah, I promise. She looked up at me with her big blue eyes. You really promise? She had our mother's eyes, and it made it hard to look at her sometimes. I promise, Shan. She smiled and visibly sagged in relief. The word seemed to comfort something inside of my sister, even if we both knew that I didn't mean it. She needed the word, and I was more than willing to give it to her if it meant that she was out of the house and away from our father. So even Joey knows how important that one word is to Shannon, and you see that throughout all of binding and keeping of the promises between her and Johnny, So, and then we find out that Joey's gotten a tattoo.
Because Teddy took a broken bottle to his arm. And that was how we wanted to cover it up.
You kind of get what Chloe, the fascinating parallels here. Because we just talked about how Joey is not used to having a normal sibling relationship. He saw Kevin and Aoife literally the chapter before, and he just couldn't conceive it. But then you do have a form of normalcy here with him and Shannon.
Yeah.
That's
right?
a good point. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. That
Very
little bickering back and forth here of where he is. She's like, tell me I'm the best looking brother you've ever had. Like, I'm so handsome. And she's like, no, but it's a nice tattoo. Like that little banter. You do have, Chloe does a great job of paralleling it here. This is what normalcy is like for Joey in his sibling household. He just isn't able to spot it all the time.
Yeah. And then also in Chloe Walsh fashion, this is one of several times that Shannon asks, we're gonna get a better life, right, Joey? Like, this is not it. There is more for us. And it's like, oh yes, you sweet babies. Yes, you sweet angel babies. So much better is coming to you.
And then we jump into the school day, and you do see Pod share. Go ahead.
I did want to highlight, I wasn't convinced about happy endings, but when Molloy locked her eyes on me and smiled, I could believe in the possibility of a happy day.
There you go.
That reminded me of the last line of Redeeming 6. Because
there you go.
In this version of Forever, we get our happy ending. So I thought that was really sweet, like little seed that was planted there. But yeah, anyway, go ahead, Olivia.
Yeah, but we're getting the brunt of the school year. The principal explaining, and what a very interesting way the Irish school system works. Because apparently, from what I gather, the equivalent of sophomore year is like a play year. You can do like all of these electives and just kind of try to figure your stuff out. And then by fifth year, it's we need to take things seriously. So, because that in the following, Tommen will allow them to finally skip that fourth year. So, just very interesting, the Irish education system. Could you imagine if you had the option to just skip a year? Would you? Would you have?
Yes. I did skip a year, so yes.
It's weird. I'd imagine you sit down with your friends, like clearly most of that I'm sure is which of your friends is skipping the year,
Yeah, that's true. Because, like, with me, it was because I tested higher, so it was literally, like, just me. It wasn't me and my friends. It was just me. So it was a different decision to be made, and my parents basically made the decision for me. So, yeah, fascinating. Because do the parents really get a say here?
Yeah, I don't know, though. But basically, then you have all the guys sitting together, and, they're talking about Aoife. Like, did she get hotter? Did she get taller? Typical guy stuff.
Yeah, it's back and forth bantering there with them.
And then we jump all the way to December 23rd. Christmas wishes and joyrides. And once again, we start a chapter with Paul just being one of the absolute scum of the universe.
At the same time, I'm sorry. I hate to play devil's advocate, but this is a typical teenage boy.
Absolutely.
Yes. Oh my gosh.
Absolutely.
100%. Like,
but even though, like, I hate how they play it off like, you don't have to get me a present. Your present instead.
Babe, you know what I really want, right? So this doesn't surprise. This doesn't surprise me. I'm like, this is a typical. Yeah, man, totally was asked for this crap. So.
I know, but then he's trying to, like, who's fighting? Like, this is just a suggestion. And then he plays that whole, we've been together this long. And she's like, well, actually,
I've done my
all
waiting.
the times that I've dumped you. Yes. I hate that when they use that, well, I'm the only guy that's not sleeping with this girl. Boo frickin' who? Like, that's gonna be the reason
or
I do it?
I've earned it. I've been waiting this whole time. For nothing, buddy.
That's what gets you a slap on the face. But then we do get confirmation by name that he did hook up with Bella Wilkinson.
Yes.
Which I hope you got tested after that.
When I was rereading this, I was thinking, I'm like, it's too bad Paul doesn't play rugby because him and Bella are a perfect match. She wants to be a trophy wife and he's looking for one.
Yeah.
That thought came to me. But she doesn't want a hurler. She wants a rugby boy. Because they make the real money, as we will learn in a few chapters. But yeah. Anyway.
I personally think because I think Chloe's gonna have Paul and Bella, or not Paul, Pierce and Bella end up together as kind of a, you're both horrible people, so you deserve each other.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, I could see that.
They'd be perfect for each other.
Yeah.
Yep, I see it.
Because aren't there like old snippets or playlists or something of Shannon's kids at Tommen and Bella's like a teacher or something?
Would you put your kids in that school?
I would not let floating my kids around that teacher. I have seen.
I don't think it's at Tommen. I think it's like
it's somewhere. It's somewhere.
Primary school though.
Okay.
When they're younger. Yeah. I
would not let my kids go to that school. I'd be concerned. I'd be like,
right?
Police need to be watching this teacher. I'm concerned.
Well, considering that everything she did to her led to a literal crime scene, basically.
Well, she's a creepy, like, I could just see her being a creep with the children. So, like, keep her away from kids at all costs, honestly.
Hopefully that was in Chloe's, like...
She's like D. She would be a D.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. She would be like a D.
She cannot work in a high school. Ooh.
No. Disgusting.
Yeah, but then they just keep getting into it. Like, he's not letting it go. And then finally he's got an attitude. And because he's clearly not going to get what he wants here.
Yeah.
Because Aoife's like, I'm working. Just leave.
And it's so gross. I'm sorry. Where he just keeps going on and on. She tells him, I'm not ready. And he's like, oh, you're never going to be ready. Like, just, God forbid you'll let it inside you. Like, what? My God. Yuck. And then he leaves. He says, enjoy being leered at.
Once again.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So
gross. So then we find out that she stayed at work a couple extra hours to help out.
She has a car that she does not like driving.
It is an Opel Corsa. Okay, that her father got her for her 17th birthday. She doesn't like to drive it.
She walks to Tony's so she can get a ride home, and Tony is not there.
But Joey is, of course.
And this is going to be the start of, like the chapter said, a joyride fun evening for the two of them.
It's so cute! It's so cute.
You get a lot in this chapter. You get a lot with this night, including their song.
Oh my god, the song. But him just trying to teach her how to drive and
Yeah.
just her having a good time. Him in the car. This is probably the first time on almost his birthday that he's had a good time in
Well, in a way,
long
it's
time.
also kind of a parallel because Johnny taught Shannon how to drive, and
yes, good good clock. Really, really good.
And it was the same thing for that night. It was just fun. You know, no bad things happening. We're just gonna have some fun here.
And they're talking about their favorite Christmas songs, and he's like, I don't have one. I guess it'd be this because it's her favorite Christmas song. It's the Fairy Tale of New York.
Great song. I love that song.
It is. And then the Goo Goo Dolls Iris.
Iconic.
When she's like, this is gonna be our song. And he's like, he doesn't even question it. It's so cute. He just literally is like, okay. And she's like, isn't it perfect for us? He goes, yeah, Molloy. My voice was thick as I wrestled with a million complicated effing emotions. It is so perfect. Same night, still with Aoife's point of view.
But now it's obviously like, yeah. It's past midnight, so it's like technically Christmas Eve now.
Hence why the date is Christmas Eve. So
yeah.
Until the night.
But I did clock this little parallel here, you guys, where they're talking about Paul, and he's asking her, what are you doing? And she says, don't get me wrong, I know it's not perfect, it's really, really far from perfect, but at least I'm navigating our relationship with a clear head and my eyes open. I know his game, and he's not going to be able to pull the wool over my eyes. That sounds miserable, Joey says. It's safe. So he's your shield. My shield? From getting effed over.
Well, very interesting choice of words there. Shield.
Yes. Well, it might be a little parallel for another.
Because I did say in part one of this deep dive, I do see a lot of parallels of this couple with another couple.
Yeah.
And the timelines are almost the inverse of one another, which I think
they're like opposite. Yeah.
Yeah. Very interesting.
But
yeah.
Lots here. It really goes, though, from having fun to serious talks, and how he just gets very defensive because he says, the only one I've ever been able to depend on being there is my shadow, and that's how I like it.
Well, it's fascinating because he starts to get defensive when it turns more personal. He's the one who really opened that door.
Yeah, right? But now he's like, ooh, maybe I shouldn't have.
He's the one who's like, comfortable isn't as good as it gets. You know, you shouldn't settle for anything less than being in love to the point of madness. The only person that you should be settling for is the person who unsettles you the most. The person who drives you to the brink of suicide because he or she makes you feel so effing much that you can't catch your breath or remotely function without them. And like, he's the one who really dives deeply into that. And when she starts calling him on it, he can't handle that, you know?
No, and he's like, really... Oh, sorry, go ahead.
She's like, it's okay to care about me, Joe. And he's like, I don't care. She's like, yeah, like she doesn't understand why he can't just admit to caring about her. And she's trying to tell him, it's okay that you do.
And that's when he refers to, like, I only, trust my shadow. And this is where you really see, this is why he has pushed her away this entire book. I don't care about people because I can't afford to. I don't have the time in my life or the space inside my head to allow myself to care about anyone other than my family. That's me, okay? That's who I am. I can't afford to care, Molloy. Like, he just has so much on his plate. He can't bring her into the fold. He can't care about another person.
If you could just try to understand what I'm trying to do, if you only knew what I was trying to spare you from, you wouldn't push for this. You know, he truly thinks he's doing her a favor by staying away from her. And then he snaps because she won't back down. You know, she starts pushing him and he's like, you're asking for it. And he snaps and he says, you reek of desperation. It's a turn off. And then he says some other very uncouth and unkind things.
And I think it's interesting that Aoife says his eyes told a completely different story as well. Again, it comes back to that eye contact. I always thought that was interesting as well.
Yeah.
But Joey's still not a fan of what he's saying to her in this moment.
But then she's threatening to walk home with no shoes on, and, this is where he's like, I'm sorry, like, she's like, you hurt my feelings, and he's like, be my friend again, Molloy. No, you said that to hurt me. You knew it would. And I forgive you. And if I forgive you, you'll only hurt me again. And then Yeah, I probably will. Green eyes, so lonesome and full of regret, seared me.
And that's what he does finally admit to her. He says, I care, I care, I care, I care, he repeated, eyes locked on mine as his hand moved up to cut my neck. Too much. See? Blowing out a ragged breath, I sagged forward, letting my head fall against his chest. That's all I wanted to hear. I know, Molloy. I know.
Okay, then we get into December 31st, 2003, and I'm going to tell you guys, this is probably the worst part of the tandem read. You know what New Year's this is, right?
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, this is I don't like tandem reading this. This is a bad night for both couples. Like, this is not, this is not fun.
I do think it's interesting, though, that I'm like, why is Casey not with Aoife? Why are Casey and Katie over at the BCS disco?
Yeah, like this is so basically this New Year's Eve is going to be a little long, and it takes place the same exact New Year's that really sad, depressing things happen in R10. So
yeah, you know my thoughts on that.
Yeah,
and even then, so many parallels.
So many
parallels
events
happening, going on. Like, you know, Joey making a comment, being like, "If I had to watch that prick lost the side of Molloy's face with his tongue."
You guys, the parallel here of Joey not being fully in his mind and Danielle taking advantage of that kind of parallels another girl taking advantage of another guy not being completely
there's so much. I mean, God, I feel like we could do one deep dive episode alone on the parallels of this New Year's Eve, because you have Joey and Aoife, they're this close, and then you have Hughie and Lizzie, and it's goodbye, you were bigger than the whole sky. Like,
it's again the inverse of both relationships, which is so interesting. Like, in such pivotal moments, like it's literally down to the same exact night and everything.
Well, it's the same exact night, and like I said, you have almost the same exact moment of Danielle and Joey with Katie and Hughie. Hughie is only thinking about Lizzie that night, to the point where Patrick is like, don't call her, and he's thinking he's talking about Lizzie. Joey is so off his rocker, he literally doesn't remember this night when Danielle takes advantage of him. And you can say all you want that Katie didn't take advantage, but in my opinion, Hughie was drunk. And she did jump on him and kiss him. And yes, there is that parallel. You may not like that parallel, but it is here. Sorry.
Now I want to know why Casey was not at this party.
Well, I had a whole other, like, very far-fetched theory about Casey and Feely that, like, they had.
Tell us.
Well, I just feel like they had more history before that night of New Year's Eve. I think Casey maybe had the hot. I feel like Feely it too. It was following Katie around because she knew she was her connection to them. She didn't know about Katie and Feely. She knew Katie was going to be somewhere where the rugby boys were because she met Feely on Hughie's 17th birthday and was interested, 16th birthday. Probably was interested and was trying to, like, go hang out and be near him and take a shot. So yeah, I think that's part of the reason why Casey was not with her bestie this night. Yeah, because we see that in R6 when they're getting ready for the 90s party. And we'll see it at the end of this book, too, where, like, when Aoife's going through their breakup, Casey's like, Katie has a house party with some, like, rugby boys, and we're going to go hang out with them. And then the next week, it's the 90s party. She's, again, saying the same thing. Like, Casey's definitely interested in the rugby boys. So I think that's why.
Yeah, you think Casey's getting the party invites from Feely, not Katie?
Potentially, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that Casey and Feely have partied together a lot.
Yeah, I think them, like, introducing themselves to each other at the 90s party was, like, a bit.
I think so, too.
Yeah, I thought that was, like, them, like, playing with each other.
Well, look at the snippets that we've gotten, and it may not make people happy, but it's very obvious that Feely likes sex, and he likes parties.
And so does Casey. Let's be honest, yeah.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
So
messy. Anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah, how's your Halo? Joey's POV, and like we had said, just a mirror to Lizzie, him not being in the right space. He even says, truth be told, my brain was a scary place to be, and I didn't want to be anywhere near me most of the time. It must be nice to be able to sleep at night without the fear of being dragged out from under the covers and beaten to within an inch of your life. Must be nice to not be distracted by the screams of your half-starved siblings or the low wails of your battered and bruised, not to mention brutally assaulted mother on the daily.
And in the indie version of Saving Six, this part's even longer because we get a flashback of Joey talking to Marie, which is really interesting. And I'm trying to remember the context around it. I think it was like Marie was blaming Joey for Shannon getting beat up at school again. So like things were, as usual, just weighing on him very heavy. I very specifically remember this chapter being longer in the indie version.
Interesting.
Yeah. But anyway, like we said, we have Joey just not in a right headspace, and he is at a party on New Year's, and he's witnessing Aoife and Paul once again getting into it. And then he goes, she just let it go. She let him speak to her like he was her keeper. It didn't settle well with me. And then he even mentions, I lost my head so badly that I almost killed her brother. Because he says, I'm not getting involved in any more of her drama. Look what happened last time. But
isn't it interesting that Joey says, instead of giving her a piece of her mind like she brushed it off, like, we're really seeing that
she doesn't care anymore. Like, she's not putting her... She's done. Yeah, I don't know about you, but if I don't like somebody, I'm not going to put in energy to a fight. No. Yeah. It's like, okay, and cool.
Joey's observing it. Joey's observing that, like, and she, like, it's upsetting him, but I don't think he even realizes how much Aoife's, like, she's done with the relationship already at this point. I mean, she had been from basically the beginning. I mean, she told him a year ago she had feelings for Joey, but yeah, I thought that was an interesting observation.
We start, after that whole, where he says nice legs to Danielle, we get way more nice legs comments from
he really
Joey
ups it.
He
really amps it up a lot, yeah.
Like, every time he sees her, he's like, nice legs.
Because she's like, I'm wearing jeans tonight, not in my head.
Like, not in my mind. So funny. But I noticed that, I'm like, I could probably start counting how many times he says that after the whole Danielle incident.
Yeah. But then she just decides to join him and, they just start talking and everything. But she does make a note that Paul does not like when she drinks. And he gets really upset with her when she has too much.
Well, that's what they were fighting over at the beginning of this chapter. She's like, please don't get sloppy drunk again.
And then Joey and her decide to get more drunk together.
Yes. He's like, is he your keeper? Here you go. Like...
That's and then my girl.
You flash forward just a little bit, and they're playing one of those really fun word games. I used to play this all the time. You say a word, they say a word, and it just becomes a game, and it's a dirty game.
This before? I've never even heard of it.
My dad made this a car ride game, because when I was little, when he'd have to pick me up. Not this version, no. No, but what we would do, my sister and I, to rage bait my dad, was the rule was you couldn't do and or the. So anytime it got to my turn, I'd go and my dad would be like, stop, let's progress the story more. But it was a car game.
They followed that rule here because I don't see them saying and or the.
Maybe, but yeah, it's actually a fun way to pass the time, even the clean version.
Yeah, even the kid-friendly version. Because they are not playing, and this is where you kind of see how innocent Aoife is. Like, she's blushing when he's, like, trying to, like, get her to say the naughty bits. And she's like, I can't say it. I can't. I'm gonna piss myself from laughing. And he's like, no, you're not. If you piss on this trampoline with me on it, I'm gonna have to revoke your friendship status and find someone else to play the one-word game with. And she's like, you wouldn't dare. I'm irreplaceable. And in his mind, he goes, that she was.
But then you have
so obsessed.
Danielle.
So cute!
Ruining the moment.
They invented chemistry, guys, I swear.
Yeah.
Yes.
But then Danielle comes and ruins it because she probably saw it. And she's like, once again, she does this very, like, needy thing with Joey. Like, oh, I thought you would come dance with me. Like, why would you?
But Joey doesn't even care. He's like, yeah, whatever, bye.
Yeah.
See it a little bit, but who cares?
I don't.
But then they go back. I know.
Then they just go back to their game and everything, and then Paul comes out.
Well, he's hearing them with their little game, and
Mhm.
Aoife's got her hand around Joey's neck, and he's like,
I bet you, though, based on chapters
Danielle
ahead,
went and
Danielle went and told him, said, you better
Yeah.
go out there and break that up,
For
so then I can go
sure.
get what I want, too.
For sure. She was like, do you know where your girlfriend is? Do you know who she's with right now? Like, for sure, she ran in and told him. Yeah, 100%. So then Paul threatens Joey.
And then he does, after he gets Aoife to go inside, he does make a comment to Joey. He said, thanks for getting her drunk for me.
Oh, gross. It's easier to get into her pants when she's drunk. Thanks.
Mm-hmm. Fun times.
Which is ironic considering what's about to happen.
Yep.
Aoife's like, get the fuck off me.
I know. So then, as Grace said, we jump into January 1st.
First, clearly after midnight.
Right after midnight, and they're fumbling around together, Paul and Aoife, and he's trying, and she's like, nope. And oh my god, he says, haven't I earned your V card by now? I would have vomited over anyone who ever said that to me.
V card is an automatic red flag. Like,
haven't I earned it?
I have to remind myself that this is 2004, and V card was a very popular term to be thrown around then, but
do people not say that anymore?
I haven't really heard it.
I didn't even really hear V card. I heard like Pop the Cherry. You know that one?
Pop the Cherry was a big one. But
that was a big one. With
V card was a big one for us. It was don't swipe your V card, or are you ready to swipe your V card? Mm-hmm.
Because we also, I don't know, it was Pop the Cherry, because you also had to break the seal when you were drinking. Do you guys know that one?
Yeah.
Don't break your seal.
Because I always do that. And then I'm in the bathroom every 5 minutes.
Every 5. So those were like the popular terms I had when I was growing up. But yeah, this is Ireland, so a V card must be big there.
But she basically stands her ground, and she's like, I'm not doing this at a party with other people here. Like, and then the cherry on top of this man then at least me off.
Oh my god. And then he asks her, what if I'm tired of waiting for you to pry open those Virgin Mary legs?
I will, though, say hats off to Aoife for saying, put that thing near my face and I'll bite it off you.
Yep.
But then, as they're not gonna do this, Danielle and Joey come in, and Danielle is just like, oops, sorry, like, we just wanted the room, and Aoife's like, no, it's fine, you guys take the room. Obviously she's not happy because she sees her with Joey, and Aoife notices Joey's not okay, because she's like, is he okay? He's fine, Danielle assured me. And then, like, she's just, Happy New Year! And this is not the first time that Danielle has been with Joey intimately when he does not know what's going on.
Yeah. And I mean, it is evident he has no idea what's going on here.
Mm-hmm. Danielle is a character to me that I don't really know how to interpret, because I don't think it's fair to categorize her like as a Pierce of the world, but at the same time, this is the second time she is sleeping with Joey knowing that he is not all there. Now, I know this is 2004, and consent especially was not a big thing, and especially, male versus female consent is a whole nother big gray area, and that's why I never really know where to put Danielle. What about you, Grace? What do you think?
You have to wonder as well, she's very insecure, right? And so is she latching on to this as a form of, I can convince him to love me type of thing, Well,
you really see it, like, after the Halloween thing, she comes up in class and she's like, well, Joey, I thought you'd sit with me. And he's like, no, why would I do that? And then you see it here tonight. Well, Joey, I thought you'd dance with me. I don't dance.
Like, take a hint, girl.
Yeah.
It's not even that. She's like trying to convince herself that if she's physically intimate with him, it will convince him that there can be something more between them. Is what I think in her mind, she's trying to do.
Okay, I could see that.
And you see that, because you see that later down the line when she's like, you've had sex with me. And he's like, but I told you what it was. And she's like, but you literally have been sleeping with. So in her mind, I think she thought, if I'm physically intimate with him, it will push him closer to me.
Yeah. Yeah, I
Absolutely.
definitely can see that.
Mm-hmm. I agree, though.
Doesn't make it right.
No, it doesn't make it right.
She's absolutely taking advantage of him. That's clear as day. But like, I don't.
It's just
she does
it's
it
hard
so much
to
for her own
categorize.
gain. Yeah.
Right. Absolutely.
And
Absolutely.
She doesn't actually care about Joey. She cares about being validated.
Well, clearly, because look at who she gets with right after all of this. And you find, and in the last portion of the deep dive, when they were off for a while, wasn't he texting Danielle?
Yeah.
In third year? Yeah. So, but then Aoife does say whatever happened.
Interesting that Danielle showed that to Joey. I wonder if she was like trying to use that as like a bargaining chip, being like, look at how many suitors I have. Like,
for sure.
True.
And not only that, because she knew that Paul and Joey already had a tiff and tat because of the Aoife thing. So, look, I might dump you to go with Paul because, Paul, like, yeah.
Like, girl, he don't care about you.
I know. Yeah. It was Aoife he cared about, hun.
Yeah, that's exactly.
Yeah, but then you have Aoife making a note that whatever happened between them in her bedroom had clearly been exactly what Danielle wanted. Because when she came back downstairs afterwards, she was so happy with herself, she was practically floating. And it's important to note Danielle comes down alone. So Aoife goes upstairs to find Joey. And she finds him just completely out of it in her bed. And the thing is Joey was so out of it that when Aoife wakes him up, he thinks for a minute he slept with her.
Yeah.
And then he feels awful because he was drunk and he's like, please tell me I did not sleep with you like that. I would never hurt you, Molloy. I'd rather die than hurt you.
It's a really hard scene, but necessary because you see how at this moment Aoife's had her heart broken, really, because she does care for Joey deeply and she just saw him. She knows he's hooked up with another female. But she still goes in there and she takes care of him to find out if he's okay in this moment. Which Danielle left him there in this state.
Mm-hmm. She does also note that because he's laying on his stomach, she does see a bunch of scars on his back. And she's like, where did you get these? Don't say fighting.
And he immediately goes fighting.
Yep, but she does convince him to leave with her so they can walk home together. Yeah,
we jump to January 7th, 2004. I will always stick up for you, and this is Joey's POV. And Danielle comes up to Joey and she's like, have you seen your sister? And he's immediately like, no, why? What's happened? She's bawling her eyes out in the bathroom. I'm sorry, but you just left her there?
Yeah, right?
Well, that just goes to show you Danielle versus Aoife.
I mean, well, you have it in the chapter before. She leaves Joey after getting what she wants.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Sex in his state while Aoife goes in to take care of him. And then you have it here as well. She leaves Shannon. She sees a crying girl that she apparently cares so much about Joey, knows that's Joey's sister, and she leaves her there.
This is one of the instances that we are teased about in Binding 13 when Johnny gets Shannon's file, and there is a specific incident about her ponytail being cut off. And this is that instance. And you know, also, with her ponytail being cut off, I would have expected Shannon to have not as long hair as she is described to have in Binding 13.
I know. Yeah. I've thought about that before, too.
I'm like, if her ponytail was cut off
back
a whole 12 months before she goes, right? I'm like, was her hair like Rapunzel hair? Like,
impressive.
Could be. I do want to note this line, though, because I think it's important to Danielle and Joey's relationship, is that she's literally like, hey, I don't want to get involved, okay? I just don't want to get on anyone's bad side. I'm only telling you because you're a friend. But then she's whining and complaining that they were more than that.
Yeah.
So
the same day.
It only
later that
literally
day.
It literally is only when it suits your narrative.
That's exactly it. That's when you really know that someone cares about you for you, is when they care about the extensions of you. If that person does not care about the extensions of who you are, bye.
Yeah.
But this is, where Joey, rightfully so, I have a lot of opinions about what all comes about this, and you guys will have to let me know. But basically, Joey goes in there, and he sees Shannon on the floor, completely battered, bruised, and holding her ponytail. And Shannon is at this point where, I want to die. I want to die. I want to not be here anymore. And Joey is just, rightfully so, he's got tunnel vision. And so Joey then And this is a parallel of Johnny. Johnny does this a lot in the 13 Duet. They have this rule. You don't hit girls. So you go after the equivalent to them. And for Johnny, it was, I'm going to beat the crap out of Kira Maloney's boyfriend. And for Joey, well, I'm going to go find Kira's brother. And he does. And he beats the living shit out of him to the point where it is described that both Shannon and this brother had to be taken to the hospital for injuries and ever. Joey is like suspended. And then what? Danielle is just sitting in a little detention? Or not Danielle, Kira?
Yeah.
Insane.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't blame Joey here.
I don't blame Joey at all.
Like,
but it's the fact of, and they even pointed out when Aoife and the guys are talking, you know, you can't suspend Joey and not do anything to Kira. Like, she's the little bitch who started this entire thing.
Also, though, but look at this. When Johnny goes to fight at the school to defend Shannon, you have Gibbsy, you have all of his friends there as like backup, right?
Joey's alone.
Mm-hmm. Very interesting. Although we do see the next year that Alec and Podge got hits in on Kevin for him, but still.
Yeah.
It's in this situation, he definitely deserves to be backed up.
Yeah, agreed.
Yeah, but then we get into Aoife's POV, and she's just talking about how everyone at school had heard it by lunchtime. And then Paul just sitting there like, he's had too many chances. He's going to be expelled. And that's why Casey, rightful brain here, if he expels Joey, he has to expel Kira too for what she did to Joey's sister. Because first of all, this is not Kira's first offense. That we know, like, so...
But they don't care. The school does not care. And it's very evident.
They're very after Joey. They are looking for everything to get Joey gone.
Well, look at the parallels here. I'm going to be quite honest with you. We could complain about Tommen all we want, but look at the principal's reaction to Shannon having her hair hacked off and bullied for years here at BCS, right? It's literally, I'll deal with it how I want, Joey. Mind your business. Whereas the principal at Tommen was like, oh my God, I'm so sorry this happened on my watch. This won't happen again. Like, he is like so apologetic. You don't get any of that from the principal here at BCS. And it once again just shows you the different class systems, right?
No, and I'm sure also to this principal, this is clearly a principal who hates his job, and anytime something probably happens to Shannon, it's probably a, great, now I have to deal with this.
Which is funny, because wasn't the principal, didn't he go to school with Teddy? Like,
I think so. Yeah, they did. Yeah, they were.
Together.
Yeah, so, that was mentioned in this book.
So it's interesting that he's going out of his way to push Teddy's son out of school, but maybe he was jealous of him or something.
Yeah, but we basically have them all talking about this, and Paul is really pissing Aoife off here. And then he's like, why are you always defending him? If you like the guy so much, then what are you doing with me? Good question. I've been asking myself that exact question a lot these days. But yeah, and then isn't this where Aoife and Podge kind of have a little chat where Podge basically is like, you know, there's way more going on here.
Which I always found interesting, because Aoife's defending Joey, so I don't know why Podge was like getting on.
Well, so because I don't think Podge heard the whole conversation. Okay. So because you have Aoife here, she's talking with Casey and Paul about what went down, right? Mm-hmm. And Paul and even Casey's kind of like, nah, he's going to be in prison. Like, she's not really sticking up for Joey here, but Aoife is defending. Mm-hmm. I don't think Podge heard that entire conversation. Yeah. I think he walked in and heard Paul and Casey going back and forth and just assumed that Aoife was sitting there letting them talk that shit.
Yeah,
you know?
I can see that.
That would make more sense, yeah. I do also want to point out, like, we are really seeing here, like, Aoife and Joey are not together yet. They're literally about to be any second. But we can see Aoife cares for Shannon even before her and Joey.
Absolutely.
So for everyone who says that
Aoife and that's a parallel to Danielle in this same chapter.
Mm-hmm. Yep, exactly. So here's another example of Aoife really caring about them. So.
Yeah, so just we have Podge and Aoife really kind of opening Aoife's eyes up more, because he's like, don't act so surprised, he works with your father. Like, you didn't know what's been going down. I didn't. Wait, Joey told you? He told you that his father is beating him? Podge swung around and gave me a look that said, "Are you crazy?" No, of course he didn't tell me. In case you haven't noticed, he's a fair bit closed off. Joey doesn't tell anyone what happens in that house. I've heard enough rumors and seen him come to school enough times with black eyes to know that he has it a lot harder than you or that self-righteous asshole you call your boyfriend. And they just really get into it because she's like, that's not fair. And then she notices that Podge has Joey's backpack, and she's like, you know what? I will take it to him. And then we flash forward a little bit where she arrives at Joey's, and she does make a comment about the estate I lived on didn't have the best reputation, but it was Disneyland compared to the one he lived on.
Mm-hmm.
With some houses on his street bordered up and even more covered in graffiti, it was safe to say that Elks Terrace had a definitive air of misery about it. And she's just describing the whole scene. It's depressing. And it's sad. She knocks on the door, and Shannon opens the door, and she's like, I know you. You were at my granddad Murphy's funeral. And then Aoife makes a comment in her head about how Shannon does not look her age. She appears so much younger because of her size and everything like that. And she, said, I'm sorry about what happened to you. Are you okay? You don't look okay. Like, she's just really being, like, Shannon's never had this outside of her family. Like, I don't think she was really teased and bullied at the school with Claire and Lizzie, because Claire and Lizzie were there. But this is just somebody outside of Joey that's just really like, are you okay?
Well, it's someone outside of her group, like Lizzie, Claire, that is actually actively taking an interest in her. So,
but yeah, you can just see there's very different reactions from every one of the Lynch's house in the house of when Aoife gets there, because you have Shannon, who is just so shy and timid, and she's like, hi, and you have Ollie, who's just so excited that she's there. He's like, hey, Aoife.
Yeah, we really get good insight into all the Lynch siblings' personalities in this moment. Yeah, Aoife's like gives such good perspective on the dynamics.
Well, Ollie brings her in the house. He like grabs her hand and he's like, come on in. Joey's getting in trouble right now, but come on in.
Yeah.
And Shannon's fear is palpable here. Like,
big time.
You can feel the tension in the words here, that she's like, does not want Aoife to see what's happening, or hear what's happening.
Well, this is, in a little way, it's a small parallel to the first time that Johnny came over. This is very different, though, because Johnny and Shannon had that house to themselves. Like Ollie said, Joey is actively being yelled at right now. And so they all know what's going on in that kitchen. And now here's a stranger that's going to come in and hear everything.
Yeah. And so Ollie's like introducing him. She sees Shannon grab a blanket with a baby, and she's like, oh my God, is that your baby? And Shannon's like, not my baby. She's like, no, not my baby. And that's when Ollie's like, no, that's our brother. He's just turned 2. And so Ollie's kind of like introducing her to
the family.
4 brothers.
And then you can hear Teddy screaming in the background, acting the big man at school. Really? You mean for defending your daughter that just got her ponytail hacked off? Okay, yeah.
I think it's interesting too. We see Tyke like in the armchair. Joey's not in the room, and Tyke thinks he's the little alpha, as Aoife would say.
He is.
Yeah.
He is.
Yeah. Again, that's why I'm like, we really get the dynamic here of all the Lynch siblings, but it's also interesting that Tyke like looks over at Shannon nervously. He's going to flip, and she goes, who? And Ollie says daddy, and Tyke says Joey. So I thought that was, and Shannon says nobody. So 3 different types of people in that house.
But you have Teddy and Joey going at it, and Aoife can hear everything. You've got, throw me out, don't tempt me. Then you can hear Marie get off him. Like, you can just, this is the first, Aoife literally just got from Podge probably an hour ago. Hey, he gets beat at home. And now she walks in and she's overhearing all of this.
Very interesting.
But she also then says, I instantly recognized him as one of the meaner, sleazier drunks that propped up the bar at work when I worked the afternoon shift on weekdays. He never ordered food, so I never had to personally serve him, but I always got the creepiest vibe from him. So Aoife recognizes him obviously as somebody that she serves a lot, and right away Teddy is like, who is this? And Ollie. That's Aoife, Ollie said proudly, patting my shoulder with his small hand. She's my friend.
Ollie.
And then you have Marie coming in, and she, like, clearly she's been following these two around, and she's like, stop, Teddy. And she's like, oh, hi. And she's like, Aoife, are you friends with Shannon? And, you know, Teddy being Teddy. Take a look at the girl. She's not here for Shannon. She's here for Joey.
His dark eyes roamed over me in such a way that I felt uncomfortable. Then who? Oh, you're here for me, an achingly familiar voice said. She's here for me. But that uncomfortableness, we know.
Oh, yeah. And then right away, Joey is just like, what are you doing here, Molloy? His tone was hard, his eyes blazing with barely contained frustration, as blood trickled from a cut above his eyebrow. In my house.
Yeah. And he's terrified. Like, this comes off as like he's mad, but he's actually so scared for her.
He wants to get her out of that house.
Yeah.
He sees how Teddy's looking at her, too.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it established early on the threat that Teddy is to Aoife, which is heavy.
Yeah, because Joey's like, she's not staying. Like, he really, really wants to get her out of there. But I will say this is probably the only instance of Marie being super nice to Aoife.
Yeah, that's true.
I was just about to say that. It's
so
like she's really sweet. So nice.
Yeah, like, thanks for bringing his bag. It's really good to meet you.
Because she's not a threat to her standing as the only woman in Joey's life currently.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I thought that when I was reading this, I'm like, it's wild.
You know
this is
what?
So different. Yeah.
I didn't send it to you guys, but I sent this to Kristen and Cash. There's that famous woman going around, Jason Biggs' ex-wife. She put out an article, she wrote a blog, and this is Marie, about how she's terrified of her son growing up and dating a woman because that means that she won't be the only woman in her son's life anymore.
Like, I feel like this is like a trend on TikTok.
This is like this whole big thing. She like did this whole how she hopes one of her sons is gay because that means she won't be competing with another woman for her son's affections.
Yeah,
like,
I've seen those.
Yeah. And that's what I feel like Marie in this moment, she doesn't see Aoife as a threat to her standing as the only woman.
Yeah, I could, yeah.
Which also, like, Maria, are you oblivious? You don't care about your husband leering at a teenage girl in the room. And, like, also, she is there for Joey. Like, it's just a really weird dynamic all around. But, yeah, she is not threatened yet, like you said. But this is really just, like, could not be more of a 180 from another conversation between Marie and Aoife in that house. That's going to happen later that year. Oh my god, I even wrote in here, what's up with the display of kindness, Marie?
Yeah, she's just very like, oh, thank you so much. But yeah, then they go outside and you just have a classic early 2000s teen drama pouring down rain scene. It's all set up perfectly. Their first kiss, I'm telling you guys, it better play out exactly like this on the show, because the way that Chloe has like written it, like, this is cinema right here. You have the pouring down rain, you have the you're not, like, I'm not good enough for you, like, I don't want to hurt you,
because we know we're gonna get a rain kiss scene with Hugh and Liz. We know based on the snippets that we're going to get a rain scene with them, and this is just so perfect. Like, just the way that she is the one who's like, mwah, and he caves immediately.
But
and it's like,
she does have this epiphany. The vicious way he attacked both Paul and Kevin when he thought I was under threat. It was like a rain cloud had lifted in front of my eyes. He wasn't violent by nature. He was violent because he wasn't nurtured at home.
Yep. And he's like, she says, are you afraid I'm going to hurt you? And he says, no, I'm afraid I'll hurt you. Hurt me? All you've ever done is look out for me, Joey Lynch. You would never hurt me. I could. I might. And that's when she's realized, she says, wide-eyed and chest heaving, he watched me warily, waiting for my reaction. Waiting for my rejection, I quickly realized. That's when...
Well, I think it's really important here that she goes, that's not going to happen With my eyes locked on his and my heart hammering wildly in my chest, I forced myself not to flinch, not to turn away at the sight of his bruised face or the dark circles under his eyes as I whispered, because you're not him. Something that
Yeah, that's a big part. And then I don't want to like deep dive their kiss too much, but
I mean,
foreshadowing.
I could do a whole episode about this.
Grown ass woman, by the way, Grace. You're gonna get canceled for that. Okay, bit of foreshadowing here. This kiss was going to have consequences, I realized. Huge, heart-stopping, feeling-igniting consequences. And then, same day, in Joey's POV, maybe you're the dangerous one. And they just continue kissing and kissing and kissing. And here is one of my favorite like little clues that I love to compare with R10 of I don't know how people still don't think Hughie and Lizzie are getting married because oh my god, I think he just got her pregnant.
So funny. It's so perfect.
Anyway, they are making out and two people happen to stumble upon them, and this is what I was teasing at the very beginning of this episode. I think you guys, hands down, out of this entire series, how this whole scene plays out has to be the most pettiest fucking teen drama I have ever seen in my life. Because oh god. Okay, so yeah, they get busted, and then right away you get back into Aoife's POV. This is all on you. And this is Danielle and her friend. And apparently they were coming by to check on Joey as well. And you have Danielle, basically a blubbering mess over here. Like, how dare you, Joey? How could you do this to me? Her friend is like, she wanted to make sure you were okay. And then Danielle's like, we see how fine you are. Like, just... And basically... This is where I get into the petty stuff, because her friend just goes...
Yeah.
So...
The way she's talking to Paul is insane.
Oh my god!
That's what I'm saying! Like, it's just...
Yeah, I can hear it. I can hear her tone.
Guess what I'm looking at right now? Well, yeah, your girlfriend... Like,
Aoife stayed calm, because I would have...
Jump a bitch. Like...
I would have snapped.
Yeah. Oh, I would have, like, taken their phone and broken
it.
Like,
you know, I would have snapped. I don't know how Aoife stayed calm here, because I wouldn't have at all.
Yeah. Hi, Paul. Yeah, it's me, Bex. Yeah, so I'm up at Elks Terrace, and I thought you should know what I just saw your girlfriend, Aoife, doing with Joey Lynch. Uh-huh.
And the fact
that's right.
That
I legit saw them.
He's there within minutes.
And then
he literally gets in his car.
He's been waiting for this for years, though. He's been waiting for
this. Look at this. Yeah, I swear, Rebecca said, grinning deviously. No, I'm not lying. She was wrapped around him like ivy.
You do that so well, Ashley.
You know what it kind of reminded me of in a way? It reminded me of Mean Girls when they saw that one girl at the mall and Regina's like, hi, this is like Planned Parenthood. I have Susan's test results. Could you call me? Thank you.
You know what else this reminds me of? That conversation you get of Claire, Lizzie, and then those two other girls with Shannon talking about Johnny. Like that little...
100%. Yeah.
Oh my god, but it's... Yeah. Paul must have been right around the corner. I'm telling you. He's like probably doing drive-bys himself. Yes.
He was waiting to bust them. This is like I think he was like looking forward to this moment.
Let's break screeching loudly.
Oh my gosh.
He brings his he fucking brings the cavalry. Like,
I know. But
then Paul starts beating up Joey, and then they tag team him with his older brother.
Tag comes out, you guys.
And Tag's like, get off my brother.
He's got the broom and he starts beating
on Billy too, on the oldest one too. Like, he goes on the 19-year-old.
But it's basically clearly escalating. Like, and I don't know why Danielle didn't think anything was going to happen out of this, because she's like, stop. And then Aoife's like, are you happy? Look what you've done. But yeah, they are just really tag teaming him. And then the cops show up. And because, I don't know if we've mentioned this, probably in a few deep dives ago, Paul is the son of what? Like the chief of police?
Yeah, superintendent.
Yeah, like
the
yeah.
party. Yeah.
And so right away the cops show up and they name drop. His older brother is like, our father. And even Aoife goes, really? Name dropping your daddy?
To be honest, though, I would do the same thing. I'm not gonna lie. Like, I think all kids would.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
I get it.
But then Joey gets arrested.
Mm-hmm. And Teddy walking out going, yeah, what's he being accused of? Assault, the guard replied, looking a little uncomfortable. Assault. He turned his gaze on Joey. Did you do it, boy? Sure did, daddy. Like, what the heck? That's insane. Teddy's like,
but Aoife
right,
even tries to say that she tried to give the guards like the correct version, but they were just, only interested in
well, they didn't stand a chance once they found out who the kids were. Like, that's just exactly. The
I did make a very important note on this page. There is no wink. Just saying.
There you go. Thank you. Okay. He doesn't wink at her when he's getting arrested here. Okay.
Just saying, guys. The ultimate Mandela effect.
Debunked.
So much so that Chloe made a playlist about it.
Yeah. But then Paul basically gets his final blow at Aoife. Once Joey Lynch is done ruining you, not even the nuns will have you.
Yeah. And we jump to January 28th, 2004, Willful Girls and Withering Willpower. This is Joey's POV, and we talk about how his original punishment that he received for fighting with Mike had been basically extended from a week suspension to an extra month once the principal caught wind of his arrest. Why would the principal... What does that have anything to do when it's outside of school?
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, that's a great question. And, like, why is Paul not in trouble? Like... Yeah, they are really just targeting Joey here.
Yeah.
Hardcore. Mm-hmm.
He needs Daddy Kavanaugh in his corner.
It makes no sense that Joey was punished for this at school. It didn't happen on school grounds.
Mm-hmm.
And we basically get Joey's internal struggle here once again of how he cannot stay away from Aoife, but he is so much aware of that he's a train wreck for her, and he's hoping that maybe this had opened up her eyes to see how bad he is for her. But he can't stop thinking about her since the kiss.
He is at work.
He's listening to Tom Petty's Free Falling. And this is when Aoife comes up and she's like, so this is where you've been hiding? He's like, I don't hide. And she's like, well, apparently you don't call either. And basically, he's kind of tried to stay away from Aoife. We know why. He does not think he's good for her. And
but you know what? This actually kind of backs up your claims. When we were talking about Danielle, Aoife does call her a grade A clinger.
Yeah. Yep.
All the girls in school you could have messed around with that night, you had to pick the grade A clinger.
Yeah. And she's even like, you caused some damage to her pride. Anyway,
I thought
she goes, go ahead, Grace, say it. I think you're going to read the same line.
Yeah, well, she wasn't my first choice that night, if I recall correctly. My first choice was taken. Stopping in her tracks, she turned around and looked up at me. She's not taken anymore. Are you serious? My eyes widened. Rebecca's single now?
She's like, you dick. And he's
Joey
like,
was quick with that.
With you. Yeah, so funny.
Savage.
So funny.
Oh my God.
But then, they get into a chat. He's like, are you really done with Paul the prick? Yep, for good. Unless hell freezes over. Good, he was a prick. And then, they just talk more, and she says, don't worry, it'll be safe with me, Joe. What will? Your trust. My survival instinct kicked into gear, demanding I ward this girl off because she was getting way too close to my weak spot. You think I trust you? Maybe not yet, but you will.
I highlighted this because quite literally, almost exactly a year later, at the 90s party, they have that. There's so many little things in here that reminds me of their conversation at the 90s party, that like big speech about their relationship where they really talk it all out. But Joey telling Aoife like openly and fully that he trusts her at the 90s party, and she's like, wow, like this means more than you finally admitted that you loved me. So yeah, I thought that, again, another seed planted here that I thought was like really cool, just to see how their relationship is developing.
She calls him the quintessential lost boy and says, don't worry, Peter Pan, I'll be your Wendy.
I can't.
So cute. So cute.
I'm obsessed with them.
I think it's just... You guys.
Yeah, but then they start making out again.
Yeah.
So then we go to February 20th,
and then we get that for a lot more chapters.
And then we get to February 23rd, 2004. And now we are in Aoife's POV. And her mom makes a comment like, hey, we haven't seen you in a while. Like, have you been studying? Or what made you, like, come out of your room? And her parents clearly don't know about everything that has conspired in the last month. Because Kevin is dropping hints and really teasing her here.
He's being a brother here. He's literally like, where he's not saying it, but he's letting her know that he could easily say it. It's like such a sneaky, you're like, shut the hell up, shut up, you know? So sneaky.
Isn't it interesting that like he's like, did you hear about Aoife and Paul breaking up? And then Aoife's mom goes, I heard something about that, all right. And then Aoife goes, mom replied, no doubt having heard it from Katie's mother next door.
Yeah, why is Katie's mom next door?
Is it like the mom? Is it the grandma? Isn't it?
Yeah.
Or maybe, well, we know Katie is the product of a teenage pregnancy. Maybe her grandparents are not that old looking.
Yeah, that's why I'm like, does he think Katie's grandma is her mom? I don't know. Just something that stood out to me. I was like,
what did we... The first mention of Katie, when she comes out that one night, is it her grandparents even mentioned?
I don't think so. Nothing about her is mentioned.
No, there's nothing here about grandparents. It just says, on my next door neighbor.
So how close are they really? I don't know, just questioning it.
Aoife finally tells her parents that she's not with Paul anymore, and they do make a comment, like, clearly that this is wash, rinse, repeat, and they're like, well, for now. And then Kevin's like, I wouldn't be so sure about that.
Also, which is so funny, because then you find out that they're, like, trying to be sneaky at school. What?
Yeah, right. Everybody knew even before you guys were hooking up.
Right.
Like, yeah. Her parents are so oblivious in this too, which is...
Well, because he even mentions Joey here. He's like, come on, it's so obvious. Aoife and Joey. Kevin, I hissed. Joey. Dad's eyes wide. My Joey?
My?
I think you'll find he's more Aoife's Joey than yours, Dad.
It's just like, whoosh. But I mean, good for Aoife and Joey. They needed to buy time, I guess.
But then Aoife's not... Like, she's not gonna admit it. She's like, there's just rumors.
Yeah.
But her brother does not out her. It's really not until the following year that he really pisses me off. But, yeah. Anyway, then Tony makes a comment. He's like, fair play to young Joey, having my back like that. But then this is really where you see, though... Good save, Aoife. This is really, though, where you see the resentment. Because Kevin's like, yeah, let's all raise a glass to the Honorable Joey Lynch.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then we jump to March.
I mean, I don't blame Kevin.
I don't blame him. I don't blame him.
All things considered, he's kind of being a big...
Well, considering you just had that just a second ago. Joey. My Joey?
Yeah, literally. Yeah. I'm not saying he's a good sport in future occurrences, but here...
But I think that's exactly why he outs her.
Yeah.
Because Aoife even makes a comment in Saving Six that she was closer to her dad, Kevin was closer to their mom. And then when the pregnancy stuff comes out, her and her mom get super close. Obviously, that's extremely threatening, you know?
Yeah.
But then we get into March 4th, 2004, blue eyes, him blue balls.
Yeah. Well, I think that it kind of says everything that needs to be said there in that title, doesn't it?
But he's at work, and he's talking to Tony and everything like that. And Tony's like, I hope that's a rollie you're smoking, boyo, and nothing stronger. Joey's like, isn't it always? And they're just, you know, having a talk and everything. And just, Joey is so grateful for Tony. He's like, I want to say thanks. For what? Just everything. Thanks.
Yeah. And then Aoife texts him, and I think
he's supposed to go over to Aoife. Is like, that's, we want to note that he has plans with Aoife, but like regular Lynch family drama happens, he gets a call that he needs to come home.
Yeah. Yep.
By the way, is this the first stud mention? I highlighted
it. Is. I think it is the first.
Just wanted to point that out.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
I love those nicknames. I'm just obsessed with everything about them, guys.
But he gets home, and not Marie this time. Shannon has been on the receiving end of Teddy's fist. And obviously, Joey is not okay. And once again, Shannon is just like, I'm not worth getting hurt over. And of course, he's like, you are worth it. Of course, you're worth it, Shannon. You're worth 1,000 of that piece of shit. And I don't ever want him to make you feel like anything less. And then Joey goes after him. And then, of course, Marie's like, don't, Joey, like, stop. And, like, he just got done beating your daughter.
She doesn't care.
And just once more, Lynch family, Tig trying to help, them trying to remove Tig from the situation.
Well, Tig is yelling at him, yeah, kill him, beat him. Like,
And then Marie, I think I might go through all these books and make a check for how many times she goes, Teddy, please. Teddy, stop.
No, Teddy, that's your son, Teddy.
Because you're
But then Teddy goes, shut up, whore, or you'll be next.
It's brutal. Yeah.
Great stuff. So then a little while later, great stuff in the Lynch family household, truly. But then, you just have Joey taking care of Shannon once again.
And then Shannon taking care of Joey.
But then once again, Shannon, like, not intentionally putting that pressure on him, but don't go anywhere. And it's just more that weight on him,
He's been beaten, Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And then we jump to Aoife's POV, where she's upset because Joey completely just, like, did not show up, and she didn't know why. She said, none of that would have bothered me, though, if he had just shown up. She'd sent him a couple text messages, hadn't heard anything. She even says, because I was dealing with Joey and not Paul, I found myself in uncharted waters. When Paul hadn't answered my text or calls, I'd never given it a second thought. When Joey didn't answer, it made me want to curl up in a ball and rock myself. And this, like, brings me back to the conversation they just had on Christmas Eve, just a couple months prior, where she, like, is like, I know where I stand with Paul. It's comfortable. And, like, she's at a point right now where for the first time, she doesn't know where she stands with someone.
She's afraid. She doesn't
have the control. And, like, she's really pointing that out here early on. She was afraid to lose. I didn't feel like I had the upper hand in this relationship, with the advantage being that he held my heart in his hands. If Joey left, if he walked away from me, it would hurt. It would cripple me. And that was a worrying realization. And again, this is another callback to her conversation with her mom as well, being like, she's already losing herself to Joey so quickly. And Joey shows up and he's high.
Yep. And just, she's like, what did you take? Drugs, Joey. I know you're after taking something. I've known since you were 12, genius. I think I know when you're high. What did you take? And then nice legs. Fine, if you don't want to be straight with me, you can leave. And this is just, once again, we see this a lot where she'll start off angry at him, but then she really just kind of sees the danger here, won't let him out of her sight,
Well, this is where we really get the first, well, not the first, but this is, now they're technically in a relationship, and she is competing with drugs for Joey's attention, right? It is a callback to scene earlier where Shane pulls up and Joey gets in the car, right?
It's not about competing with his responsibilities at home. It's about,
well, yeah, because I'm sure for her it's like, so you didn't show up because you were getting high. Like, she doesn't know what was going on in that household. So he climbs through her window high as a kite. Your first reaction is going to be like, that's where you were.
Well, see, I'm going to disagree there, because she does know what's going on in that household, right? This is what.
Well, I mean, like, no, like, just what had happened hours ago. She doesn't know that Shannon just got punched in the face, and
right. But she does know how difficult that household is. I think she's trying to be, instead of turning to drugs, she's saying, turn to me, Joey.
Yeah. And use me as that outlet, escapism instead.
Yeah. So.
Yeah. All right, then we get into a fun little portion. Okay. April 2nd, 2004. Find You in the Dark. All right, they are at Biddy's on a Friday evening. And
I want to point something out about this. This is 3 days before Hugh and Katie get together. So just wanted to point out that date.
Well, she's really making sure that he commits in those 3 days right here. I'm not going to be nice here. I'm really not. So they are all at Biddy's, and you have the BCS gang, and you have the Tommen gang. Okay? And it is described that Aoife and Casey and Katie show up together. And Katie doesn't stay with the girls. She follows a guy over to a table with another group of guys. And Grace, since you just pointed out to me that they are not officially together, why is she leaving her friends, her girl?
Interesting. Yeah, it's
why.
So, what do we know from R10 at this point? They had only kissed once, because 3 days later she's saying, "When are you going to kiss me again?" Like, she's in a situationship with Hugh at this point, one-sided, mind you, because Hugh thinks they're still friends.
One-sided.
He's still so hung up on Lizzie, and granted, he's honest to her about it and everything, but like, and yes, he is spending a lot of time with her, but he's so like in the depths of his breakup still that he doesn't even realize what's going on. And also it's like Katie like ditching Casey on her birthday to go hang out with her once.
That's what I'm saying. Katie is not a girl's girl. Katie is not a girl's girl.
Either
because
that or she's not that close with them.
I'm telling Grace, I did not
her.
realize this was before Katie and Hughie were official. So that really puts it into a different perspective to me, because she arrived with her girlfriends. Mm-hmm. She ditched her girlfriends and went over to an what appears to be an all guys.
Was she even invited to the Hughie thing? What, or did she?
Oh my God, decide... maybe she wasn't, and they got there and she saw him.
Yeah,
that's what I'm wondering.
And she went over and inserted herself there.
Mm-hmm. And maybe, we might see this in F12, because
I think we're gonna see a lot of things that I'm gonna like in F12. You know what? I think we are gonna like F12 more than Katie Feely people are gonna like F12. And you know what? You have no one to blame but yourselves for creating all of these false canon facts about this character that doesn't exist.
Yeah.
Because you tell me, what do you make of this? It is Casey's birthday. She arrives with her girlfriends, but she doesn't stay with her girlfriends. And now we know, timeline-wise, her and Hughie are not a thing yet.
What? But apparently her friends think they are, because they say she's going off with her Tommen fella. So what is Katie saying to those girls?
I'm wondering too. What information has she given to that? You know, because this is in Joey's POV. This is
where we know Hugh.
Joey clocks
Hugh is like,
so
we're not together. Hugh was like, in Hugh's POV, he's like, no, we're nothing. She's going around telling everybody they are something.
That's what I'm saying.
But then she's in his face like, I'm not trying to rush you. Mm-hmm. I'm not.
Yeah, but inserting herself into a moment with the boys, I don't think there's any girl.
You guys, this is not the first time we've seen Katie at what appears to be an all guys night. Like,
mm-hmm. Yes, that's exactly.
I'm sorry, you can downvote me all you want, whatever, but I don't think Katie is being invited to all of these nights. I think she is inviting herself.
Yeah. This might even be similar to...
Guys are very territorial about their guy nights. I'm just saying from previous experience. And I don't know, when you are constantly showing up like that, making sure you're invited, like...
She might be taking a page out of Casey's book, where kind of knowing where the rugby boys are going to be at and showing up.
Or even if they show up and she sees them and she just is like, oh, here's my chance to insert myself here. I'm going to ditch my friends for this guy.
Yeah, well, I think she probably heard that they were going to base.
Can I also point out, though, that Joey himself does not refer to Katie as Aoife's friend? I watched as her redheaded neighbor said her goodbyes to Molloy and Casey before joining the Tommen table and making a beeline for who I thought looked a lot like Shannon's friend's brother. Yeah, Joey himself. I watched as her redheaded neighbor. Anyway, Casey's birthday, they're all, doing their thing, crude jokes, having fun, stuff like that. And then next chapter over, April 2nd, same night, same place. Aoife and Joey are in the bathroom trying to get it on and have a moment. And they are interrupted by none other than Gibbsy, who tries to give them a condom. Which I think is really funny, because maybe Gibbsy should have been at that 90s party with, like, a bowl of condoms, like, handing them out.
Hey, they're only
still wouldn't have used
97% effective. They're only 97% effective anyway, so I just watched that Friends episode, so.
Where he tries to call the condom company.
Hey, my daughter was double contraception.
You put it on the
It happens. If those kids want to happen, they will happen. Trust me. But this is, I love this because this is Joey's first interaction with Gibbsy.
Yeah.
Listen, prick, I don't know how things work in that posh school of yours, but where I come from, you get your ass kicked for pulling a stunt like this. So if you don't start walking the F away from me and my girl, I'm going to rip your head off your shoulders and feed it to your asshole. Gibbs, would you leave it alone, you weirdo? They don't need your running, bleeding commentary. Excuse my flanker. He's like a bleeding Labrador, completely harmless, with zero awareness of social cues and etiquette. I think that's a great way to describe Gibbsy.
Yep.
He is a Labrador.
Then we get into April 12th, casual sex without the sex.
I love that in this one that Joey says, hearing everyone at school whisper about how we wouldn't last longer than a week or how my head would turn only made me more determined to stick with the girl, to stand over my decision to be with her. Their lack of faith in me only strengthened my determination to not fuck this up, whatever the hell it was. Being with her made me want to keep a clear head because I wanted to remember her. Like, so.
But this chapter is also important because he's talking to Podge, and Podge is like, you're better than Paul, because if the shoe was on the other foot and you were trying your arm with her like that, he would flip. And then Joey says he was always trying to cage her, slap a label on her. That girl is her own person. Believe me, no one's going to cage her.
Except for you. No, lad, especially not me. And Joey, that's why you got the girl.
And then we jump to April 23rd, 2004. The door is always open. Joey's point of view, once again, wash, rinse, repeat. Tragic things happening in the Lynch household. He basically describes it as Dad was drinking more than normal these days, which only meant one thing. Mom was self-medicating with more Valium than usual, something I had realized the other night when I broke into her stash for my nightly fix and found it almost completely gone. Shannon was being continuously tormented at school, the boys were on edge, and I was beyond agitated. And he's with Shane Holland at this point.
I think it's really interesting, too, about, like, not interesting, but it's scary to see how much Joey's getting all scared, too, that Shane is keeping tabs on him. He knows exactly what's happening to his sister. He knows all about Aoife.
Well, Joey's probably his best customer. You gotta know what's going on there.
Yeah. And even trying to get Aoife to come for him. And Shane's trying to laugh it off, but Joey's like realizing like he's in trouble here.
Yeah.
And he's like, that is a hard line for me. And we know that's just not the end of it.
Then we jump into the next day, April 24th, Weird Dreams and Wandering Hands. And this is, I think, why I love Aoife, because I would never have the balls to do this with my father right there. So Joey's working, and Aoife's really teasing him, and she's like, I had a dream last night. Like, she's...
Well, this is the 7 sleepless nights dream, too. Yeah. So...
And Tony's standing right there, and Joey's, like, under the car, and you can hear him go, Jesus, like, stop what you're doing, please. Because she's doing this, like... Yeah, I certainly felt like I was coming. Another loud clatter sounded from beneath the car. Fuck.
Wait, I love this scene so much. I love Tony goes off and is like, Joe, that was Mary Jane. She's after breaking down by a halfway roundabout. And then Joey turns to Aoife and goes, he told her about that head gasket, Joey whispered, smirking, but would she listen? Tony says the same exact thing. And then Joey winked and it was slightly unsettling how well he knew my father. Like, they're so cute. I love them so much. So after work, Joey and Aoife go back to Aoife's house. There's an empty house, and they start getting intimate once again. And Aoife is thinking that she maybe is ready to have sex with Joey. And just as they are about to do it, Aoife decides she's not ready. And she was so ready for Joey to get mad at her like Paul had so many times, but instead he was like, it's fine, he does not pressure her, and she's finally feels so comfortable with her. She's so used to Paul, but Joey instead is like, he doesn't care. He's like, instead he's like, you seem to be under the illusion I'm some sort of sex-starved deviant and capable of spending time with you unless time revolves around me being in between your legs. And something I love here is that he's not there for that. He was there for her company, and he repeats that. And I love that. That's another callback to an earlier conversation where they have, like, and we even see the several conversations about this. Like, Aoife thinks so much, well, I mean, obviously she's beautiful and gorgeous, and that's so much for her lore, but, like, Joey sees what's underneath that surface, and I love how much, like, they just connect on that level. And I love, there's just so many iconic lines in this one. I'd rather you tell me now than regret me after. And then, I mean, this ends with one of my favorite lines in the book. Don't ever think that I don't have feelings, because the only time that I allow myself to feel anything is when I'm with you. So it's a really sweet moment that I love Aoife and Joey so much. So yeah, just wanted to call that out.
Okay, May 7th, 2004. It's time to lay your cards down. Aoife is texting Joey that word game, and she's distracted, and Casey calls her out. And she's like, are you going to finally admit that you guys are together? Like, we all can see it. We all can see it. It's pretty obvious, girl, that you're together. And Casey makes a comment about, like, sex, and Aoife's like, we're not doing it. How is that possible? See, Case, it's actually really easy. All you have to do is not allow a boy to insert his penis into your vagina.
There you go.
Very funny, bitch. Seriously, though, you've been messing around for, 3 months now? And then Aoife does say, well, hey, I never said nothing was going on with him. And, they just have their girl chat and everything like that and all of that fun stuff. But
and then Danielle inserts herself. And we get yet another foreshadowing where we learn here that Danielle got with Paul real quick. So happy for them. They seem perfect for each other.
Danielle clearly wants what Aoife has.
Literally. And you know what? Like, I love that she admits you're clever and funny and beautiful and had your pick of the bunch in first year. Like, she
says you're 10 out of 10.
Yeah,
she literally says you're 10 out of 10, girl.
At least you're not, like, putting her down in that sense, but yeah, you're still, hating on her because she got what you couldn't have.
Yeah.
And then that's when she says, enjoy becoming his mom, Aoife. I doubt you'll make it to 6-year graduation without a baby Joey in your belly.
Yep, there's more of that foreshadowing that apparently no one else sees. But Casey even says, give it a rest, Danielle. You reek of jealousy.
Mm-hmm.
And then Danielle does this whole, I should be thanking you, Aoife. Please. We traded. Like, look at my jewels. See, this is what I get for being with Paul. Like, it just, okay, girl, you do you. And then Casey's like, don't let that pinhead with only boobs for a brain get inside your head.
Okay, see, she's so fun.
Right?
So they're all chatting it up at the lunch table, and Mac comes around and mentions that Joey is out in the parking lot.
Shane Holland.
So yeah, Aoife finds out that Shane Holland's around, and she immediately runs outside.
Now, this is a scene Shannon describes in the 13 duet of, this is when Shannon thinks that they first got together. So
yeah. This is her first impression of them as a couple. Is that when, yeah. I love that. Aoife cracks me up in this scene because I whipped out my phone, which absolutely did not have a camera on it, pretended to take a picture of Shane's car, and then threw her phone at it and everything. But yeah, and then there is a furious and crystal clear green eyes glare down at me, so she does note that he is sober. But yeah, reckless and wild, I broke free of his hold, knotted his jumper in my fist, and dragged his mouth down to mine, kissing him hard and rough. And that's where I wrote down binding 13, because we hear that from Shannon's POV. And
but she did win here. This was a big win, getting him to not go with him.
Huge. Joey walked away and is like, don't talk to me. Not a fucking
But yeah, he ain't happy. So then we jump into his POV, Fury. I'd never tasted it quite this bitterly. Unable to look at Molloy for fear of what I might say, I kept driving away from the school and further out from Ballylagan, hoping that some distance would help cool me down.
And speaking of what we just said with Shannon, Joey goes, well, people at school didn't know about us now before. They certainly do now. And she goes, good. I have nothing to be ashamed of. Have you? And he goes, no. Good. Glad we got that clear up. clear it up. And then, gosh, she goes, "You're here for the same reason that I am, asshole, because you're in love with the person staring back at you the same way I am." And he goes, "I'm not in love with you. I'm not Molloy. I don't love you." She goes, "Don't bullshit a bullshitter, Joey. You love me so much that it makes you sick." And then she goes, "I'm in your head. Then, now, always." And that is a phrase we see repeated a couple times with them. The then, now, always. Here it's used in a snarky way, but we see it used in other ways as well. So they have so many little good like blips and like little quotes for each other. I'm obsessed, if I haven't made that clear already. But yeah,
and,
we could probably just gloss over the rest of this.
Yeah, then still May 7th. God, a lot of stuff on May 7th. Making up and making out. She talks about don't poke the bear. Ooh, I know that all too well. Yeah, I poked him. Mm-hmm. Oh God, trust me. Nothing is worse than being in a tight, confined space with your spouse after you have done something like that.
Yeah.
I mean, they made the most of it, though.
They do.
Yeah, that's true. Then we get into June 8th, 2004, the day before Lizzie's birthday. Phone calls and phonies.
Man, then she poured the jug of water over his head and told him to go fuck himself. I wonder who they're talking about here. Sounds like it's a regular at the bar. I know, but I'm wondering. Yeah, I'm wondering who the...
Well, she did say before she's got a bunch of usual sleaze bags that like to be there. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Well, I remember, didn't Julie make a comment, like, being, like, getting excited to serve Teddy one time and everything?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't know. So, yeah, cute little conversation between Joey and Aoife here. Oh my God, I love the
Then July 6th, 2004, potty training and pep talks. Just, Joey not wanting to be in his house, which, I don't blame him. And then Aoife texting him, like, how about we do something this weekend? It is summer. And then just basically, this is just such, we get so many chapters of this. Joey being asked to do things, but while he's texting, he's parenting. He's trying to potty train Sean right now and all of this. And he's dealing with Tig getting frustrated. And Tig is even like, that baby is broken in the head. He's going to be 3 in October and he can't even talk yet. And then Joey gets defensive. You'll be broken in the head if you talk about him like that again. It just...
And also Joey noting that Sean has been knocked around the head here.
Mm-hmm.
Awful. Freaking awful to see. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, but you just really see how the tension has built, especially with this whole Sean and Joey role thing, because he calls Joey Dada, and then both at the same time, Ollie and Tig are yelling, "He's not your Dada, he's your brother."
Yep.
So and then we end the chapter with, he's like, "You wanted to do that thing this weekend? Yeah, let's do it. Let's go have some fun." And then July 11th.
Time I would have loved to dive into the bonus chapter where we actually get to see them at the Techno Rave, but we'll gloss over that.
Yeah, then we have July 11th. Yeah. They're just talking about how much fun they had, being drunk.
Then the tattoos are revealed here.
Yep.
Joey says, "If you're in my heart, and then I'm in your ass." I love them so much.
Yep, and still July 11th, road trip home. Just, normal stuff. Having fun. And then basically to end this, then we are on August 22nd. And this is Joey's first official hangout with Tony and Trish as Aoife's boyfriend instead of Tony's man, Joey. And you have Joey, really nervous about that. He knows Tony and Trish. He loves Tony and Trish, but this is a very different type of role for him.
Yeah. We're having roast beef. Please don't be mad. Roast beef? Aoife, I'm going to be roast fucking beef when your father gets his hands on me. And then she goes, "Wow, you called me Aoife. You never call me Aoife." And he goes, "I better start practicing, for when I meet your parents." And then, "Not your boyfriend." Oh my Jesus, I just realized something. What? My boss's daughter is my girlfriend.
Yep, and then we get into same night with Joey's POV, and it's just, it all works out opposite how he thought, He was
Classic
so
Joey,
worried for nothing.
Things. Yeah.
Right, because, we really get into the first part of the deep dive. Part of the reason he didn't go with Aoife was because Tony had given him, this speech about Aoife, and Joey misinterpreted it, and you get 100%. This here. Mm-hmm. Because Tony's like, "Well, I just wanted you to look out for her.
Yeah.
I never said you couldn't date her."
Yeah. And immediately
he's like, "I like you." Yeah, he's like, dude, I like you. What are you talking about? Yeah.
Joey thought he was the trouble when in fact he was quite the opposite. He was going to be the one protecting.
Well, and this is just where you first, do you love my daughter entirely for about 5 years now? Second, do you see a future with her? No, but that's only because I don't see one for myself. The hard look on his face softened. Aw, lad, like just, Tony loves Joey. So
yeah.
It all worked out way better for him than he thought.
Yeah.
And then,
a chance on that boy, and I'm glad that I did, because the man that small boy turned into is a man who I am damn proud of.
Yes, and Joey needed to hear that.
Well, and also this dinner ends with him getting confident. He needed this. He didn't know that Tony was basically expecting him to work full time for him after school. Joey kind of was like, what am I doing after school? And you can kind of see this, really, Tony, you'll take me on full time? Like, absolutely, yes, let's do this. So this is kind of where you can see Joey sees, okay, I do have a little bit of a future here.
Mm-hmm. And for that to happen right after admitting to Tony that he was with his daughter, like, really probably meant the world to him. So
yeah. But yeah, that is going to do it for 4th and 5th year. This was super long, you guys. Sorry. Yeah, it's a lot. And the next one is only half of 6 years, so...
Yeah, boy.
Lots to get into. Oh yeah, that's right, because the second half is in Redeeming 6. Ooh, it's about to get bumpy.
It is.
Yeah.
It is.
But we got this.
Yeah. But I do so love Joey and Aoife. I do so love their chemistry, their banter, their connection. It's just, it gives me so much life. I adore them. I really, really do. I love Joey Lynch. He's just such an iconic character. Like, he's such that tortured soul that you're so badly rooting for. You're like, Joey.
Well, I just think
together.
Tortured characters in general, authors really need to get it right with their POV of feeling the brokenness. My brain doesn't work right. I'm afraid of being in my own head.
I don't deserve to be happy.
Yeah. And this book alone, just this one, I mean, God, you really see it from like chapter 1 of how he is afraid of his own mind.
Yeah. Yeah. So.
But yeah, so that is gonna do it. Thank you so much for sticking around for this super long episode.
And we will, as soon as Grace gets back into town, we'll film the last part of this for the
next week.
6.
Yeah.
Yes. So, but we will get it out to you guys next week, and then we will take a week off before we dive into Redeeming. But yeah, thank you guys for joining us for this long episode. Like I said, like, subscribe, follow over on our TikToks and our Instagrams, and we will see you on the next one. Bye, guys.